All right, we are live.
It went harder than I thought, though. I won't lie, like
I
expected a little more middle of the pack.
I mean, our boy, he
had the lowest score.
He did.
Yeah, he went middle of the pack.
I
think he could have went 3.5.
Yeah,
3.2, but
3.0.
3.75 was a little high, but compared to 4 and 5, and I'm like 5 out of 5, dude. I watched that episode. Like, what is your rating for a 5 out of 5? Because to me, don't blink's a 5 out of 5, and that is not don't blink.
It's why when we did a rating thing here, like we did the board games, we did it out of 20. It's because to me, 5 points isn't really enough to rate something for one.
You gotta get all those points like they were doing.
Because you got to think. We think in 100% a lot of times.
Yes.
Well, 4 out of 5. That's an 80.
Yeah.
You know? So.
You know what? Yeah, if we start rating again, we're going to do it like school, baby. We're going to do 100. 1 out of 100. We're going to do grades.
Well,
that'll be good.
It's one of the things I like about, there's a pizza reviewer I watch, Barstool Sports. Dave, he does these pizza reviews, and he does a 1 to 10, but he does 2 point. He does at least a decimal, sometimes 2 points of a decimal. So he'll give something a 7 point, 4 or 5, or 7.3. So that gives you a lot.
No, 10 is to me as a bare minimum for rating.
10 is, I think, a bare minimum.
Because like I said,
add a decimal, that's 100 anyway.
Because like I said, when I think of 5 out of 5, I'm thinking of like the best episodes of Doctor Who ever. And when you give a 5 out of 5 to something that even 30% of your folks hated, that's weird. Yeah. It shows something.
Well, it's one of the things I like about his ratings is he'll love a pizza. He'll like, man, this pizza is amazing. I'm going to give it a 9.1. And, people will be like, if it's so amazing, you're like, this is the best pizza you ever had. Why is it 9.1? He's like, well, because there could be something better out there. I can't give it a 10 because
look at what I just said.
Because then what do I do when I get something better?
Like I said, if you give Don't Blink a 5 out of 5, you dang near can't give anything else a 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Because then people will go, because here's what's going to happen. Somebody's going to go, oh, man, that's good as Don't Blink. Then they're going to watch Rogue, and they're going to go, this isn't 5 out. Even if you love that stuff, I've seen better.
Yeah.
I have seen better with those themes.
That's why.
Bloodaxe, Loves, Guns, and Tentacles from Borderlands 3. One of the best DLCs ever. Has the same themes, but executed to perfection. I look at something like that, and I look at Rogue, and I go, Rogue ain't that good compared to this. It was kind of lazy writing, no build-up, no emotional investment. It wasn't a 5 out of 5. It just wasn't. You know what? It's hard to build a romance in a single episode of anything, honestly.
Well, yeah.
Like, you need more time to build up momentum. How can any romance story be a 5 out of 5 when it starts and ends in the same episode? That's very difficult to pull off. Very difficult. Just being real, that's hard. And they did not do that.
100.
What'd you say, brother?
Say keeping it 100.
Hey, man, I'm just being fair and saying 5 out of 5 is an insult to all the 5 out of 5 episodes.
That's why I also have to give our boy credit. It's because you could tell he was struggling because he used a decimal. Because everybody else, in most episodes I've seen of theirs, it's like, oh, we give a 4 out of 5, 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5, or whatever. When he was like 3.75
Vexels? And then what is a Vexel? It's like, I'm not explaining it. I threw it out. Well, because it's not a 4 out of 5. And I understand you're wrestling with that, but you're trying to also be fair and be nice.
Yeah.
So he's like, I can't call it a 4, but I won't call it a 3.
Yeah.
And I feel that. Because, I feel that. I feel like be like, okay, I'm not going to call it. Because 4, same thing, dude. I've seen 4s. Because, sometimes, because like you said, what if he rated something really good a 4?
Yeah.
And now he's like, ooh, if I call this a 4, people are going to think my 4s are trash or that I got sick and was drunk when I watched this.
Yeah. But, all right. Anyway, let's get started, guys. Welcome to Dicejunkies. I'm Xenodamus. I'm here with
Q.
And on Skype,
we have Bloodaxe.
All right, let's get started. Oh, man, this is a nasty week. It is a nasty, nasty week. We had a fun week last week with games and Xbox and, You know, all the new
And 2 of the games that were on there are on this list.
and
Though one of them is their fault. The
Yeah.
other one
Hang
is, I
on.
think it's
One of the
interpretation.
reasons we're having such a bad week is we didn't talk 2 of the crappy things from last week. We punted it to this week.
true.
We
true.
did pile on a lot of,
I
which
mean-
y'all got a sniff of if you got the
Yeah.
pre.
But I mean, we had an hour and 45 minutes of excitement last one, and so
At least I've calmed down because y'all saw the amount of cursing I was doing. We
Yeah,
talked about
yeah.
the blackmail. You know,
yeah.
I was so mad because this is a game I'm looking forward
so
to.
this episode we're rubbing on the stink. So
Yeah, we gonna talk about you know what and you know what, and y'all know what you know what it is. Power of one, the power of two, the power of many. You know, we're hitting that.
The power of 16% audience rating on
Spoilers.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Spoilers. And then of course you know, Doctor Who.
yeah.
I still can't believe they're still hiding the 7-day scores, man.
Oh,
It's
you
been
know.
more than 7 days.
Anyway, first up though, let's talk about Blade.
Oh, just hurt my feelings some more. Yeah,
Blade loses another director. I'll be honest, dude.
we're 2 down.
I remember the original Blade movies. I enjoyed them.
Dude, people still watch them.
Yeah.
I
And
saw
so,
somebody reacting to it recently. Reacts video. They
and
were loving it.
Blade has always been a character when I was young, growing up, that was in the comic book collection I was stealing from. I was a kid. I couldn't afford comics. My brother was a comic nerd though, and he had a lot of Blade, and I used to read them. Loved the comic.
Yeah, he means stealing from his brother.
yeah.
He's stealing comic books from his brother,
But
not the local comic book store.
no, I would never do that. I enjoyed. Oh man, he was a weird guy. Our local comic book store. This is in Columbia,
That
Mississippi.
sentence is 90% of the
not
time.
Jackson, but
But that's part of the charm. You walk in, you see the comic book store guy. He's one of a kind.
miss you, Hollis, man. You're cool. You know.
Yeah. Hope my boy Van's doing good out of town. You know, Original Van's comic owner. He was unique.
Yeah. Hollis was my first comic book owner, comic shop. But
Van's the first one I got to know. You know, like I've been in other comic book stores, but I avoided the guy behind the counter because, you know, you're young. I was not as comfortable with white people back then. So I just kind of avoided him. Like, hey, man, let me just get that.
He actually taught me how to play backgammon. You know, because he used to play backgammon a lot, and I was like, it's that part of the checkerboard, you know, that you like. What the? I don't know what this is or how to play.
I still don't.
So I finally was like, all right, dude, I see you playing backgammon all the time. What's it up? And it's a really simple game once you actually learn it. It looks really weird outside.
I want to learn Go.
But,
that's my nerdy game I want to learn Go.
Yeah.
But that is not simple, apparently. That is like that makes chess like look like a kid's game. So I'm like,
Or
okay.
shogi.
Shogi or Go, either one.
Yeah.
But,
anyway, Blade loses another director. Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly not surprised. I'm surprised that this movie is still being made at this point. I'll be honest.
Well,
that's my surprise.
Our boy Marshall Ali is going to be going to film on Jurassic Park. So they're about to lose him for a minute. He's about to go film something else. That means they can't reshoot until he comes back. And honestly, what bothers me is a lot of people said is that this second director, our boy Bloodaxe, managed to find some articles saying that he was fired because he defied Disney. Well, this is a director who, to my understanding, was the one that tried to make it about Blade instead of Blade's daughter, from what I understand, which means everybody is now concerned because, in fact, they may have already picked a new director, and it's a director who tends to write, you know, not what we were hoping to see type stories, if I remember correctly, because they worked on some not so popular outings. So, but I do know that a lot of people are worried that this is being done for the purposes of making it not what we were hoping to see. And why did he, you know, it's a bad idea. It didn't work when they did the second Black Panther movie.
This article is from 3 days ago, and at this point they don't know. But I mean, a lot of things can happen in 3 days. So this does amuse me. Some fans are saying that this Blade reboot is actually cursed, and the original Blade himself, Wesley Snipes, is probably the one doing the cursing.
Well, if you want me to be honest, as great an actor as Marshall Ali is, I didn't want him for Blade. Honestly, I actually think our guy from the Black Panther movie played the guard. We talked with him. Remember back we used to. Was good. Yeah. I also thought that Michael B. Jordan would be a good Blade. Yeah, I know he was in the Black Panther movie, but I think there's a lot of really good actors who would have done a much better job. Just for one, Marshall Ali is like, I think he's 40 or 50. Like, look up his age. Marshall Ali's up there, and I'm like, you don't want to start a franchise with somebody that age. That's not how you're going to get a lot of movies out of them. It's almost how you knew they weren't planning on making a movie about Blade. They picked an actor, probably was only going to be able to do 1 or 2 movies, if we're being real. In fact, I'm pretty sure he was going to die in the movie.
Yeah, he's 50.
He's 50 years old. These movies usually come out every 2 or 3 years. They were never planning this to be a franchise. They were planning this to be a one-off.
In this case, it's taken over 2 or 3 years just to make a film.
So, essentially, that's how I know they never intended to do it right. I mean, they would have got them somebody in their 30s if they were planning to make more than one movie. Yeah. And I'm almost 100% sure that the original version of the movie was supposed to kill off Blade and replace him with his daughter, just by the common sense of the actor's age.
If you're going to do that, why not just bring Wesley Snipes back?
I mean, yeah. Bring the original Blade and pass the torch.
Yeah.
In the first place, why introduce a new actor to start up your Blade series and immediately kill? Oh, wait, that's Disney's MO. They did that in The Acolyte. We'll cover that. I forgot. That's first episode. Hey, we got Trinity from the Matrix playing a Jedi. This is going to be awesome. And she's dead. So, yeah, this is their MO. Huh.
What you got on Blade, Blood?
Well, I mean, it's one of those things that I didn't read a lot of Blade in the comics. And when the films came out, I really started getting more into Blade, looking more into it. And what Blade and Blade 2 were really kind of, stretched my legs a little bit when it comes to some of these not as mainstream comic book characters. Now, the third one, we can just go ahead and just forget that even happened because Trinity was a trash fire of a movie. But I was really excited whenever they were announcing a Blade reboot, but that was before Phase 4 wrapped up. So now that we're in the dumpster fire that is Marvel, I hope Ali just bows out and they go find someone else who's gonna take on the crappy role. I mean, it's almost kind of like Hawkeye's season 2, where they're going to call it Hawkeye, but it's really about his daughter. And it's going to be Blade, and be about his daughter. So I've lost all confidence when it comes to anything Marvel. The only thing that I'm even remotely interested in is the new Deadpool Wolverine film. And that's just because I don't think Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman will let them screw that up. But Ali doesn't have that established pedigree as a Blade character to say, I want more creative control. And the fact that you're churning through directors and writers as fast as they are just reeks of what Kathleen Kennedy's been doing in Star Wars for the past decade. Because there's no Star Wars film that normally has just one director. I mean, Solo had 2. And then same thing with the Rise of Skywalker. And it's one of those things that it's costing more and more money, and you would think that a company this big would be more fiscally responsible, but they can't even get the story right, much less people that are wanting to tell the story. So
5 years, man, 5 years.
Yeah. And I will say this article brings up a good point too. I mean, the deal was in 2019. You had Ali coming off of a second Best Supporting Actor win, so he had his momentum going, and now he's been stuck in this for 5 years, with no traction really.
Or doing anything else.
Yeah, and so that's got to be killing him as an actor. Like we said, he's 50 years old. He's getting up there.
It was 45 when he started.
Yeah, it was 45 when it started. But
now he's at the point where he's like, I got to start acting. which is why everybody's like, he needs to grab this direct. Because you know what? Say what you want, Jurassic Park movies make money.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park movies make money. And Marshall Ali will probably be the best actor in that movie because I've seen Jurassic Park movies. And yeah, I know I'll get in trouble with this. I've never been impressed with any of the particular actors that were in them or the roles they played. But finally, we're going to get to see a black man in a Jurassic Park movie, hopefully reacting like a black man should to effing dinosaurs. And I know Marshall Ali, he's not going to allow them to do what we talked about where they put him in a bow tie and make him a punk. No, he going to be Marshall Ali now don't play that. He going to be a respectable brother. So it's going to be fun to see a brother like, yo, that's a T-Rex. I'm not going out there.
Jackson was appropriate for the first Jurassic Park.
Huh?
I think Samuel L. Jackson behaved appropriately as a black man in the first Jurassic Park.
Okay, I'll give you that. But, we haven't had one in a while. We're going to get one back in there.
You're right about that.
And the Samuel L. Jackson of today wouldn't be a good choice. You know what they allowed to do to him and all those, when he was playing Nick Fury. Oh, my God. Those last shows, they punked him so hard. Samuel L. Jackson ain't the Samuel L. Jackson we used to know. This ain't Snakes on a Plane Samuel L. Jackson these days. Hey, it's the reality, man. You think your feelings are hurt? My favorite Jedi was Mace Windu. Like, I loved it. Don't you go with me. I'm hurt more than any of you. That was my boy. Before him, all I had was Quinlan Voss, who literally was only in the expanded universe. Finally, they brought a real motherfucking Jedi with a motherfucking purple lightsaber, Samuel L. motherfucking Jackson. And then he was motherfucking Nick Fury. And now he's old, tired. I guess I'll let them take care of it. And I'm going to kiss this weird lizard lady, Samuel L. Jackson. I don't know what the heck happened to the brother I grew up with. Go the flip to sleep. Remember that?
Yeah.
Because I've ran out of F's. I done F-bomb myself out.
Well, we're talking about motherfucking Jedi.
Do we have any F's left to give? Because the Samuel L. Jackson skit is just going to burn them fast.
Star Wars, The Acolyte. Audience scores get even worse for Disney and Lucasfilms following an introduction of lesbian witches.
Hey, I'm going to say this. What ruined that episode, well, it was them too, but it was the canonical story bump, like poisoning. Now, were the witches the stupidest thing I've ever seen with their weird chant? Come on, Bloodaxe, you ready? The power of one, the power of two, the power of many. Like they hit a low to many. It was the lamest thing I'd seen on screen. I was like, oh, my God. This looks like an SNL sketch. It was horrible. But the worst part was not that. It was the stupid story, lore, destruction for me. Because I'm a lore hound. Mm-hmm. And, man, they bumped that lore hard. But, I think the Rotten Tomatoes score for audiences all the way down. Like, it was 20%. Now it's down to... Well, it was 17 last time I checked. But it is Rotten Tomatoes and Disney, so it might be 50. You never know. They pull shenanigans a lot.
I mean, here it shows the IDBM score, which was 5.8 for the first episode, 5.6 for the second episode, and then 3.7 for the
lowest,
third episode.
Absolute lowest scored episode. But like I said, the biggest hit is by far... to canonically, like, how do you parse these events into the lore of it? Because, I mean, it's pretty much, somebody said that the plan is to remove the Jedi. Like there are a lot of people that are claiming they have insiders saying the plan is to literally remove the Jedi from the entire Star Wars universe.
Here's my thing,
from
dude.
This point
There's
forward.
a lot. I mean, I remember a lot of conversations, and I'm not a big Star Wars guy. You guys know I'm not a big Star Wars guy, but I know a lot of Star Wars people. I hear them talk about the Jedi and the dark side, and there's always been that, the Jedi doing things wrong, and then the dark side, and then the in-between and the gray and all that stuff.
Supposed to be some questionable conflict.
So, there was always questionable stuff. But, I mean, just the way they took it, from everything I've read about this episode, is just insane. They took a lot of people's ideas over the past and then shat on them in the worst possible ways.
Well, it's what I said, and then we'll let our boy Bloodaxe talk, because we know me and Zeno could go for a minute on this, especially me, is what I said about lazy writing. I've made this complaint before, so I won't go all the way read through it, but it is that when you are not focused on telling a story and instead on proving a point, you make some of the worst writing ever seen. And you end up making your point fail because your method is so terrible. For example, you want to bring the Jedi into question. Well, then it needs to be questionable. It doesn't just need to be the Jedi are psychos. Oh, wow, now it's down to 15%. You can't just go, no, the Jedi just kidnap children and murder groups of people or are just psychotic. And you're like, that's not questionable. That's just character assassination. That's just character assassination. You know, what's the point then? Okay, so you're just saying that the Jedi are terrible. How's that a story? You didn't build up to it. You didn't slowly show the fall of the Jedi or how they got here. You just put out one episode claiming they're effing psycho. That's not a story. If we come on here and just go, hey man, turns out Goku eats babies. I didn't tell you a story. I didn't make a narrative. I just made a terrible accusation. That's not writing, is it? You build up. If you want to do the fall of the Jedi Order, first, make the show about the Jedi instead of like these weird twins and show how their intentions fell across several episodes to this point. Don't just have a group of guys who have been trying their best to do the right thing, whether they slipped or not, because that's been shown that they made mistakes, but trying to do the right thing and just suddenly go, no, they're just super evil.
One article I read, which was in defense of the Acolyte, was sort of interesting because it mentioned, well, this shows that, you know, extreme good and extreme evil, you know, cannot be, you know, 100%, you know, on to anybody. You know, some the extreme good can appear evil, and I was like, yeah, that's a good way to look at it. But that isn't what this.
That is what it is. This is just like that.
You know,
Give us your children.
we see that in politics today. I mean, people. You got people on two different sides. No one thinks they're evil, you know. But when you get to the extremes, most of us in the middle think both sides are.
No, let's nerd it a little better. It's the entire concept of the Tai Chi, the Tai Chi.
Yeah.
The literal symbol has a white and a black side, but there's a little dot in each one of the other, showing that within light, there is still going to be some darkness, and within darkness, there's still going to be some light. It's impossible for it not to exist because all light and all dark is not good or evil. Because guess what? Extremes are always bad. That's my opinion. Any extreme is literally, that's the definition of an extreme to me. Extreme means too far. That's my definition of extreme. Extreme means too far. But that's not the story they told. It just told them being a bunch of psychos. You know what I mean? Anakin was just simply reuniting the younglings with their families. You know, I mean, by their point of view, pretty much. Because if you actually watch the episode, I wasn't going to bring it up, but I'll say it real quick. Actually, if you watch the episode, they fail at all their points. You literally see massive hypocrisy from the witches, where they say a lot of really questionable things that show that they're the bad ones. If you're actually a sane mental person. Like, I've seen some people going like, that's terrible what they just said, and why are they forcing those kids to join their coven? The Jedi were offering. Jedi walk up and go, do you want to be a Jedi? The witches are like, no, you must do the ritual. You must sacrifice for the many. And they're like, you're not giving the children any choice.
Yeah, like a cult.
Like a cult. And I'm like, who?
All right.
So they fail even then at making who the bad guy really is, because more than a few people watched this and said, man, they need to really wipe out that coven of witches. What they're doing to kids is terrible.
What you got, Blood?
So, I really struggle with this series because on one hand, I see what they're doing to Anakin in the lore, but on the other hand, I finally feel represented. And so I want to see more about the Padawan, because when you have a fat Padawan to where I now am part of Star Wars, I can't help but rejoice that.
Would you just rather, but I got to say this, but isn't your ideal version of you as Jedi just simply you in shape and not fat?
Shoot, I'd love to be in shape.
No, my point is that if I was a Jedi, I don't want to still be fat. I want to be skinny and in shape.
You get these communist lesbian space witches, and they're being slaughtered by the colonizing Jedi fascists. They're coming and taking kids, and And none of the physics makes sense. None of the story makes sense. It is clearly written by someone who has no idea how to write a story. And the fact that even the audience has now got it at 15%? It was a 16 this morning. I think you
it's
pulled
down
it
to
up
15 right now.
15 on
15
Rotten
audience
right now.
score. The fact that they're still planning on releasing more episodes of this is insane. Now, to give you an idea, it cost $180 million. Well, the budget for Dune 2 was $180 million. The budget for The Acolyte was $190 million. Let that sink in for a second. $190 million for this dumpster fire. That is insane. How much they're sinking into this crapshoot. And the fact that no one wants to watch it. And even the first 2 episodes, people were like, meh, it's a 3. But when the 3rd episode comes out, it's going to fall off a cliff. And they weren't wrong. Actually, it's about as bad as I thought it was going to be. But the way they portrayed it was terrible. So spoilers, the Jedi do come in and slaughter the entire covenant.
They haven't fully proven that yet, but it is heavily implied that's what they did.
Dude, if you look at the scene,
yes,
there's sparky fire in a cavern. I'm sorry, and most rocks throughout the universe don't burst into flame.
Hey, wait, fires can burn in space. Did you forget the first episode?
No, I didn't forget the first episode. You beat me to that one, and the fact that none of the clothing or the bodies were burned. We saw Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen how they looked in A New Hope. The charred husks. So. Yeah, and they're trying to rush Ocean through the whole scene. Dude, they're making the Jedi out to be fascist pigs. And
Psychos.
It's one of those things that it's no longer written for me. It is not my Star Wars. And I've quit caring years ago about Star Wars. I tried until Boba Fett. And Boba Fett's when it finally broke me. Because they would put out The Force Awakens. Okay, it's a retelling of New Hope, but all right. And then The Last Jedi. God, this is terrible. And then Rogue One. Okay, this is good. I like Rogue One. And then The Rise of Skywalker. Oh my God, this is horrible. And then we get The Mandalorian. This is good Star Wars. And it just falls off the cliff from there. So you're right. This is no longer for the original audience. This is for modern audiences. And the modern audiences can have it. Because I'm going to spend Father's Day watching the original trilogy, and the rest of this crap can burn in a landfill. Because as far as I'm concerned, there are only 6 Star Wars films. This other crap is not canon in my head. Now, Disney can argue that. Everybody else can argue that. We'll go to cons and argue that. But there's nothing anyone can say to convince me otherwise.
And the money backs us, in our opinion.
Yes. And I will not
the viewership.
Star Wars film until either Disney sells it to another company, or KK and Filoni are out the door, because most people are blaming Kathleen Kennedy for this. I blame Dave Filoni.
Oh no,
Dave Filoni is the chief executive director for content, and he signed off on this. So the buck stops at him, in my opinion.
Dude, the witches are his idea. They said the whole having a coven of witches and making them not the Night Sisters, which everybody would have been interested in seeing.
So if you wanted to go with a witch story, use the Witches of Dathomir.
Yeah, the Night Sisters.
And he goes, no, Leslie Headland, we don't have to use the Dathomir witches. There are other witches out there in Star Wars. And so they made it's almost like they stole part of the story from the Matrix. And they had this weird orgy scene, but instead of having like hetero breeders do it, and a bunch of lesbians having this orgy scene, and it was so weird.
There's a lot of moaning, and one woman is literally gyrating. She's just like, yeah.
All right, well, we'll wrap that up with our Star Wars coverage. I will say, Houston Hilburn in the chat room says, if I could move shit with my mind, I'd never get up again. The whole council should have been wheeling around in Wally chairs.
Yeah, but if also I could sustain myself with the Force where I don't have to eat, I wouldn't be fat.
I don't know. I love the taste of food, man. I mean,
there is no food. There is the Force.
All right.
Even the Sith
use
are
the
in
Force.
shape.
The salad tastes like pumpkin pie if you want to.
Okay. Next rating killer.
This was more you. That one is closer to Zeno's heart because he's been following this.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed The Boys. The first couple, the first season I watched.
Season 1.
The second, and I could see some of the stuff they were doing in the first season, but I mean, in the second season, it got a little more, and I sort of grew out of it and moved on to other things.
Didn't the ratings do that literally every season too? They just steady dropped. Like every season lost like 20%.
Yeah, it was
or
90% audience score in the first season, 83%. So of course, critic scores go up, audience scores go down. That's the trend. But no, the fourth season had the big drop off of 52%, and this actually came from the creator of the show basically going, ha ha ha. It was always it was not a warning of future or alternate universe. This was always a Trumpism story and woke and you're
stupid if
and
you
were stupid if you didn't see it. Ha ha ha. You're all idiots and you don't have to watch my show if you don't like it. And
he, but no, you know what I love about our community out there? I love about you all. We're so nice. We'll give you what you ask for. Why? Bloodaxe, did we not have fun touching grass? I mean, it was in grounded, but Nakuti told us to touch grass. We went out and built a castle out of it. Had a lot of fun touching grass.
And before you guys get too deep into it, I've watched all 3 seasons of The Boys, and I started watching it for one, Carlos Esposito. He's one of my favorite actors. I fell in love with him with the show Revolution, which also Eric Kripke was the writer for. And he also did a lot of supernatural stuff early on. So his writing content I've thoroughly enjoyed. And then the third season when they brought Jensen Ackles in, a soldier boy, I was like, okay, but this always has been kind of a political undertone, and it was almost in the vein of some of the stuff that Gene Roddenberry did with Star Trek, to where there were political messages, but it was hidden in storytelling. So yes, if you stop and look at it, you will see that in The Boys. But it's also an interesting story. But season 3 did go off the rails a little bit for me personally. And when they announced that season 4 is just the beginning of the end, because season 5 will be the culmination of the series, I think that also is going to hurt some of the scores as well, because now they know there's only one more season after this, and there will be no more of The Boys. So I'm going to turn it back over to you guys, but I did want to throw that a little bit out there to you guys as well.
Yeah, here's an exact quote here, because I don't like to always say things without covering. Now he says this in a lot of different places, but the one big thing is, he says, I clearly have a perspective, and I'm not shy about putting the perspective in the show. Anyone who wants to call the show woke or whatever, that's okay. Go watch something else. That's the curse. That's the curse that so many of these shows have done. And then they go, oh, well, it's these racist and horrible people.
Oh,
That's why our show is failing.
Dude, what did the Acolyte do? This show isn't for you. We want young new audience. Guess what? They've been getting their viewership they do have is younger folks. And the views bottoming out. See, we didn't get to say it was Acolyte has no numbers. It's not even getting in the top 10 of streaming shows. It is not being watched in any real quantifiable way. And you got to think about it. This is a Star Wars main release getting beat out by everything. Just everything.
It's not even being hate watched, and that's sad.
It's not getting enough hate watch. But I love it when people tell me what they want, and we give it to them. Don't watch. Okay. Now, what's going to piss me off, and where you're going to see me cursing and acting a fool, and probably Zeno will join me since he liked the show and Bloodaxe. It'll be all 3 of us for once, possibly just as pissed on equal levels, is when he comes back and he says, man, it's the audience, the fans suck. And all. Like, no, dude, you said don't watch. You said that. Stop saying something and then being a little punk-ass bitch and not being able to live with the results of what you said. Don't say don't watch and then get mad when people don't watch. It's a fact. A fact. F-A-C-T. that the majority of the audiences in the world are not woke. This has been proven over and over. When you go woke enough, your numbers drop. So when you say don't watch, you are immediately ditching half of your audience most of the time. Because it's just been proven over and over and over again.
Yeah. I am also amused that right after he tells people to not watch the show, he talks about from what you hear, purse strings are tightening most everywhere except Amazon and Apple. Purse strings are tightening at Amazon. We've been lucky that the boys become one of their flagships.
Time to talk crap.
Yeah, and it's like, when expenses are getting tight, you're going to talk crap, and all of a sudden now you've seen your show ratings drop and your viewership drop, and you are going to, maybe Amazon's going to come at you and go, hey, you know that purse we had for you, well, maybe we just don't have it for you anymore because.
Oh, look at that! Look at your ratings. You know what? We're going to cut your purse by the same amount, half off. There we are. Here you go. Tell your message with this, dumbass.
Oh, anyway. What we got next? Oh, this is fun.
What? You want to fight? You want to fight? What's up, man? Catch me outside. How about that?
Oh, I mean, Kotaku, you just...
That's a trash fire that just keeps burning.
Yeah.
Like, why does that place still exist?
Oh.
Didn't they fire most of the people already? Isn't she supposed to be writing game reviews?
I know, right?
Like, isn't she supposed to be writing game reviews?
Lisa McCanty, senior editor at Kotaku, basically calls a bunch of people cunts and bitches and pussies. And then when the internet comes back at her,
she says, fight me.
Yeah.
Right there. You're a stupid motherfucker, and if you have a problem with that, come fight me physically. She emphasizes it. Bitch. And several female YouTubers and other streamers said,
somebody immediately asked her, oh, is anybody taking you up on that? Which I'm not sure if she publicly did this before, or they thought in the 5 seconds between this that they were supposed to. And she's like, no, because they're all pussies.
And now, no, here's what's funny. She's got everybody blocked that has said yes. So they came out and publicly said, well, we can't get at her. She's blocked us. So here's my video saying, I'll fight you.
I'm just also curious, and here's my thing. And I'm a pouty mouth person, and I say a lot of
potty, not pouty. You're not a pouty mouth. Okay, I thought you said pouty.
No,
I was like
potty mouth, and I say a lot of things that are probably offensive to others, but I don't say it in the same voice that I'm trying to say people are mean and don't like. It's just like you're trying to claim, about how kind and stuff and diverse, and then
everyone else is the problem.
Yeah.
And then you literally start.
But call people cunts, motherfuckers, bitches, and pussies in the same breath.
By the way, it's kind of sexist to call them pussies.
Which I know we've already lost our ad revenue. That's fine. We'll get over it.
Well, also, I've heard that calling people pussies is sexist because it implies that they're weak.
Well, yeah.
It's weird how these rules are just so difficult to understand.
And of course, in the internet, obviously, YouTubers and others came out.
Vara Dark said, like, I'll fight you.
I'll fight.
Said she been Hunter. And Keemstar said, I will happily set this fight up.
Yeah.
Mara Jade said, let's bring it.
So, I mean, and then like... she continues talking crap for a while until finally, people start going, we can set up the venue.
Yeah, Keem's like, I got you.
Yeah, we'll donate to charity, all this stuff,
we'll
whatever.
donate the money.
And then, she disappeared.
Yeah, she keeps trying to position herself as a moral person. This is also the person that flashed, put out a picture of her whole hindquarters, just, because let's be real, pervert.
But basically, anybody who took her up for a challenge, she was like, well, I don't want to give you guys publicity, was the big excuse.
And these people are way bigger than her. Like, I'm like, you're not as big as Keemstar or Vara Dark.
Yeah.
You wish.
So,
People only know you as that hoochie who showed her booty on Twitter, like took a picture of her whole crack.
I mean, I'm sorry. Look, that somebody needs to punch that face. I'm just saying. I mean, in the ring, you know, in an environment where both choose.
I'm not going to say
fight.
someone needs to punch her face.
I'm not saying like just randomly or meanly.
But what we said before,
I'm saying in the ring.
No. Let's keep the theme going. She's made a request.
Yeah.
I believe that the audience should provide. Oh, you would like to fight? Okay. Again, these people ask for it. You never heard of asking for it?
Yeah.
These people
what
are
I'm saying is,
literally
I'm not
asking
saying
for it.
anybody go randomly punch her in the face. I'm saying she does need that ring match. Just saying.
We've already seen her ring.
All right.
Somebody drag her through the ugly forest too. I mean, because she's just dancing.
I'm not going to talk about anybody being ugly. I look in the mirror, dude. I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about how she looks.
I'm not calling out anybody's
I
looks.
will.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying you can't.
Yeah.
I mean, when somebody get a hold of us, you're going to be looking rough because I'm just going to be real. Wokesters also tend to not be tough.
Yeah.
Because if you can't take
My
criticism, you usually can't take a punch.
My wife, all 119 pounds, will whip her ass.
Well, I know. What's this, Mrs. Bloodaxe? Mrs. Bloodaxe don't play.
Yeah, have Mrs. Bloodaxe DM her.
She may already be blocked. But,
Dicejunkies will we can arrange some stuff. I mean, we got that
spot. Yeah.
we got that spot.
They got a wrestling match over there. We're the same spot that my boy starts with a Sterl Dust fight.
Yeah.
We'll get that at venue, man. And
we can talk to the WWE guys around here for the ring.
Oh,
and,
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Have to get them, let them go.
All righty. We've got Starfield, man. I was, you know, the Xbox event happened. They announced some stuff. They put out a patch. They put out some new stuff, and I was excited. I even got back on Starfield, and of course now people are hating on it, which I see why. I honestly do. I mean, dude, for one, the mods are way overpriced in the creation.
Oh yeah, they always been high.
And I mean,
these are people that sold you horse armor, buddy.
Yeah,
like I never forgot that. These are people that sold us horse armor.
But they announced this free DLC, you know, that they were putting out with this. But then they put the other half of it.
You only get the first quest.
Yeah, you only get the first quest.
It's a two-parter.
The second quest is in the Creation Club for 700 points.
Which is like $9.
Now, I have the deluxe edition. This is something I haven't been able to find out yet because I don't know anybody who didn't buy the deluxe edition.
I have deluxe, yeah.
I had 1,000 credits when I logged in. They gave me 1,000 credits.
I hope they gave everybody 1,000 credits so they could go get it.
Yeah. So if you're having to
pay... But
the
way people are pissed, I'm assuming they didn't. Well, no, they probably didn't give it to the Game Pass. That's the thing. Probably only the people that bought the game got the points.
That's very likely.
It probably came with the purchase. I bet you Bloodaxe doesn't have the 1,000.
These are Steam reviews here, man.
I bet you Bloodaxe doesn't care.
Honestly, I mean... it's not like just an official DLC. I think even that's a Creation Club quest, the little bounty hunter trackers alliance. But I mean, imagine if you're watching a movie and at the halfway point it popped up a frigging charge for the rest of the movie. That is messed up.
Yeah,
you're like, man, that first quest is good. Second quest, what do you mean I got to buy it? How much? $9, dude. We got games that have whole DLCs for $10.
Yeah.
$9 is a lot for a quest.
Yeah.
Now, I have to say that. A quest? Especially because we're talking about Starfield, man. But the modders are going to make better crap. Who'd buy anything from them? If it ain't a full DLC, you don't buy it from frigging Bethesda because the modders can get you quests and stuff that are better. I hunted xenomorphs in Fallout 4 and found a crashed ship and had a good old time. Mod.
That sounds fun, actually.
Yeah, it was fun. It was really good, dude. They had the flamethrower and everything, and I had the armor. I put on the freaking, space armor, and I was running around.
With a motion tracker for a pit boy.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. And I mean, free. I mean, I donated. I try to go in and on Nexus and donate to these guys that are doing a great job, but this is crazy because that was worth way more than $9. So yeah, it's too much. I'll say that. Now, is it enough to down review the whole game? No, and here's why though. There is a catch to this. It was all free to begin with. It is a free quest that started it. So down reviewing the whole game,
I don't think,
because something free you got. The second part of it isn't free.
I don't think all the downvoting was because of the second part, though. A lot of the downvoting was just because of the creation store in general, dude. Everybody hates the creation store. I have not found a single person that goes, other than people who have like Xboxes and that's the way they mod, you know. But on PC, the creation store is generally hated.
Oh no, like I never have gotten anything out of Creation Store. Usually it's just the fact that it makes modding better and modders are able to, because it kind of unlocks a lot of things that modders use. But I would never, no, you don't buy anything from the Creation Store. It's a trash and expensive, and nothing in there is better than what you can get as a mod. Once again, I looked forward to it because I was hoping it was going to make modding better.
Well, yeah, because you have the creation kit. But
that's the part that I like. So if that's the reason, okay, because I will be fair, I can't be a hypocrite here. They didn't have to give you the first part.
Yeah.
So you can say you don't like that. You can go score it on the creation kit of 0. I wouldn't score a whole game down because they gave me something free, but the second part of it wasn't free when it was free to begin with.
I mean, Starfield sort of had a mixed review.
You know what this reminds me of is back in the day when we used to have that shareware where you would get Doom, but you only play like the first chapter. You couldn't get the rest of them unless you bought the game.
Yeah, but that was a sample.
This is kind of like a tease for the old shareware stuff.
But it's a sample though, so you wouldn't downvote Doom because of that. You just be like, well, I didn't buy it.
No, we would just make copies from our friends.
Yeah, but at the same time, you put the first half in the game, man.
It is true that you I don't think you click a button to choose to download the first part.
So and so basically they put monetization in the middle of the game.
Because basically, I would have never downloaded it.
Yeah.
If I looked at it and said, it should have said part 1. Should have said you get part 1 of the Tracker's Quest for free. That is not the way we watched it. Y'all saw us. We were here with it. They did not say that. So I'll give them that. Now, I haven't downloaded it, so maybe I'll go download it and it is slapped on it and other people weren't paying attention. But I did not get any implication that this was a free first part. That is true. You need to be transparent. So Zeno got a good counterpoint, though. Transparency. Transparency is fair. You do need to also be transparent. Because honestly, I would have never downloaded it if for that same reason. I would have said part 1 is something, but you got to buy part 2. Nah. I'd have been like, nah. I would have not even bothered because, I'm not saying something kind of ugly, but Starfield's not good enough for me to be needing to add that stuff on. Like, it's okay by itself. I definitely ain't going to be getting extra junk. I haven't completed the dang other quest. I haven't done the current side quest in Starfield, so I would have just skipped it. But it still feels bad if that's the reason you're downvoting. I'm just trying to be fair. Don't slam a game over such a small portion of the game. This little piece over here, it's not a core gameplay that you didn't have to mess with. I don't know if I'd downvote the entire game over, what is that, 1% at best?
Yeah. Which in the updates, it does say new missions have been added to Starfield, blah, blah, blah. And then it says the second Trackers Alliance mission, the Vulture, is available within the new creations menu. And what bounty hunter is without their trusted method to get the job done?
See, that's not enough transparency. It should have said the second tracker mission is for sale. I don't want to hear the menu. You say it's for sale. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, it should have said $9 in parentheses right there. It should have been $9. So, transparency, mistake, yes. Enough to downvote a massive game for a little side thing that you didn't have, because honestly, that's a shame, because what that makes me think, if I was Bethesda, we should have never gave your ass the first one. Now, this is what I would be thinking. I'd be like, damn, we should have even gave the first one, man.
Yeah, but the gamers think it's a bait and switch tactic, and that's what it looks like.
I know, but I'm just trying to be fair. I'm devil's advocate, dude, and I'm calling Bethesda the devil. But I'm devil's advocate of should have never even did the first one.
But I mean, it's not going to be enough to get those like me back into Starfield, whether it's free or not, because
what you should have done is put the first part in the creations for free, and then the second part.
Well,
that way, I could have voluntarily started that. But if I didn't want that in my game because I wasn't going to buy the second half, it wouldn't have been in my game.
I get
but
it.
But because they forced the first half in your game, like Bloodaxe said, it's a bait and switch. You know,
no, it is.
Here's this cool mission.
No, that's what I'm saying. They shouldn't have done it. They shouldn't have gave it to you. It should have been, you know what? Just sell the whole dang thing for $9.
Yeah.
That's what you do. Just say $9 for part 1 and 2. Honestly, here's what makes even more sense. That sounds like a better value. 2 quests for $9 is better than 1. I cannot justify $9 for the second half of a quest.
Unless
that's
you
stupid.
get a kick-ass ship or something at the end.
Man, on summer sale, that's a whole game on Steam. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
$9 for half a quest? You'd have been better selling me the whole quest for $9. So I'm not even saying they were right with it. I'm just saying, hire me for your marketing. You guys do not know how to market stuff. Because I would have had the whole quest for $9, thrown in some skins, a little couple of extra stuff, make a nice little value pack. You know what I mean? But half a quest for $9, that's like selling half a horse hog.
The Creation Club in general is still just really clunky, dude. Like I got on it, and I bought the second half of the quest because they gave me 1,000 credits.
Oh, man, I was about to be so disappointed in you. I was like, you spent 9? Oh, no. Okay, you used a point.
And there was a couple of free. There's some free stuff in there as well. So I was looking through that. I mean, like some of it was skins for guns. Finally, you can find skins for guns. Those things that have been absent.
You had a splot for in your dang when you were doing your guns, but there were no skins to put on them. That was so weird.
There was one. They have one skin.
That came with the game. The weird,
but I mean,
skin.
they added one more.
Oh, part of me too.
Then they had an armor set in there that was free. The new armor set design. But here's the thing, like they linked things that would not mess with your achievements. It had a tag on it that said, achievement compatible. But they have no way to filter the mods by which mods are achievement compatible versus which mods aren't achievement compatible.
Just let them have the achievements, dude. They don't matter. Achievements are fake.
Yeah,
you don't even have a reason to block achievements.
But I enjoy achievements, and
but
and
there's
I
no
don't
reason
want
to block it.
And it's one of the things I enjoy.
Because some of the mods will make it easier, or
the game's easy anyway.
Not all of them.
Huh?
There's some in Gears 5 I will never.
No. It's not about Starfield in particular. I'm not talking about overall. I'm talking about in Starfield. Starfield achievements. I'm sorry. Let me be specific. Starfield achievements have no value to me, and thus I don't know why you're even trying to hoard them. Starfield is never going to be listed as somebody being like, you beat Starfield on hard? You must be good at gaming. No, sucker. Go beat Dark Souls or Lords of the Fallen like me and Bloodaxe. Beat a Souls like. Beat Armored Core 6 on hard. Yeah, I'll be impressed. No Starfield achievement's going to impress me.
I mean, the thing is, though, is a lot of your game systems, the Xbox for one, you get sort of points for achievements that you can unlock other things with,
So give them away.
So people don't want to lose their achievements, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm saying give them away. Let them have it.
It's a shitty system, is all I was saying.
That is my point, is that achievements are fun little things for people to get.
Anyway,
There's no reason to hold out on.
We've talked about this way too long.
Yeah.
Let's
talk about the other game they messed up.
Let's talk about Dragon Age. The Veilguard.
Yay.
Apparently, they say all the characters are pansexual, and if you don't romance them, they're going to start romancing each other. So,
and all the examples are also non-traditional relationships. So apparently, it's going to be in your game.
Yes.
If you're not willing to have a non-traditional relationship, then all your NPCs will, because it's not an option to not have it in there, baby. They'll start bumping each other, because every NPC is pansexual and not subtle about it.
Why are they doing this shit? I mean, seriously. We went from bear sex and Baldur's Gate 3 to this. I mean, it's just...
That's just plain bestiality. Oh.
It's messed up.
Anyway. No, and the thing is that I don't understand. Here's the thing: I don't care about being in the game because guess what? Big spoiler: every character was bisexual in Fallout 4 because you could romance them of either gender. It's not uncommon for you to be allowed to romance the NPCs regardless of your gender. Recent days, that's become fairly common. But when you go and you decide to make a big deal out of it, and worse, when you start saying, oh, well, then they're going to start doing it to each other so that, because that's the one thing in Fallout 4, if you don't do any romance, there's no romance in your game.
Yeah, and that should
it
be
just
the
stays
choice.
Romanceless.
Yeah, and which they call player sexual, which basically the player is
they're into you no matter what you are. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Because there's people out there that want that. And why take it away
But
from
also
them?
it's a choice. It gives you choice.
But when you literally say, we're going to put this in the game whether you want it, because if you don't, then Harden's going to start bumping uglies with the Quinari Dragon Hunter and the Necromancer and the Warden, and you're just like, you're stealing choice from people. You're telling me that I cannot simply play my game and not have any. Because honestly, me and Zeno lean toward no romance at all in our games. Like I often will skip the romance side unless it unlocks something really important.
I'm not really into the whole. I'm more interested in the world, the experience, and not so much romance and sexuality in games.
Well, it's rarely done well enough for me to feel that my character, because I am a person who gets immersed in his character's role.
Yeah.
And very frequently, I don't see the romance. I don't see it really happening. I usually have a lot of reasons why I'm like, this character wouldn't be bothered with that. Now, sometimes, like, for example, the Cassandra and Dragon Age Inquisition, it naturally evolved, and I just played the game and said, you know what, this is kind of flowing well. But that's because it flowed well. But most times, I'm not pursuing it. And honestly, I would rather play this game. Dragon Age doesn't look like it's going to be immersive at all. It's a hack and slash. They show no real RPG elements at all of you doing quests and talking to people and investigating. I thought you were going to, let me say this real quick. I thought you were going to investigate, didn't you? At the beginning when you were going to get the detective, I thought that you were about to see this investigation story. I didn't think it really showed any
gameplay, so I still don't know what the game's about or how it's going to play.
Well, that also goes back to they need me for marketing because, the game looked boring. The gameplay trailer was bombed. It was considered boring and unimpressive. I thought they were about to show this cool investigation with the detective where you're going around and you're getting clues and you're going through dialogue trees, like Mass Effect would do. You know what I mean? No. None of that.
I always like the options for influence, like we had Mass Effect and Knights of the Old Republic, to where it wasn't a romance arc, but your choices influence your NPCs, and they would give you ability boost or unlock new things that you wouldn't normally have had otherwise. And that's always been more interesting because then it's not intimate in the game; it's part of the story of the game. Yeah. But now it's not even an optional part. Is they're going to force it down your throat whether you initiate it or not.
And there's sex scenes.
You know what? Again, that game is not going to be for me because I don't want to be force-fed anything, whether it become my TV shows or my gaming.
No, also, they said that let me get this out. They have also said the game is going to have sex scenes with nudity. And I didn't need that in my Dragon Age either, really.
Well, every Dragon Age had sex scenes with nudity.
I know. I wasn't that into it, dude. I'm not playing it for that.
I will say, that is something Starfield I thought did fine with was romance because every time I had a pivotal point in my quest with them, I had the option to do the bro thing or to do the flirt thing. And I just, I did the romance thing once because I wanted to get the achievement.
These achievement hunters, man. This is what I'm dealing with. These achievement boys.
But other than that, I just friend zoned everybody. And once you get your friendship high enough with them, like Bloodaxe was talking about, you get bonus abilities from them and stuff like that. Their skills advance and stuff as your friendship advances and as you get their story out of the way. But as far as romance, there is. The only romance
it's purely optional.
The only romance you really deal with is Barrett's
that's his
husband, and it's dealing with his past. It's his story, And honestly, it was actually a really good story. I thought they did a decent job with it.
Well, yeah, we never have a problem with these stories if you actually write them.
Yeah.
But like I said, and the thing is, it doesn't even have a problem with it. It's just he's running his mouth. And it's like, here's what you ought to do, man. Why don't you just sit back and do a good job and don't bring it up? When I started playing Hades, even though I know my Greek mythology, I had no idea what I was in for. But you want to know what, though? It was all done wonderfully. And I finished all the stories. I want to know what happened with Achilles. I went through everybody's story because it was so well executed. That's how you do it.
Let's talk about the execution of stories, man. There's a game called the Black Myth Wukong, which is a well-known story in
the
Chinese.
Journey West.
Yes. And you would think there's not a lot you can do as far as, westernizing that story, because it's not a Western story. It's specifically an Eastern story.
Especially the first part, which is about Wukong specifically, and thus tends to have no humans in it.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to be inclusive when nobody's a human being to begin with. Like everybody's an animal demon.
Yeah. So
you can't really represent black people when there's no people, or Asian people when there's no people. So, like I said, what would there even be to change? Well, apparently, Sweet Baby Inc. thinks $7 million worth of changes are needed.
Yeah, so apparently Sweet Baby Inc. is wanted to help Black Myth Wukong westernize or create help make their story better for Western audiences. And they thought $7 million was a good consulting fee for that. And of course, Chinese company, Black Myth Wukong being a very solid story, they said, nah, we're going to keep our story to ourselves. And it's a good way for people maybe to learn about Eastern culture and instead of, manipulating.
There aren't any humans in the game. Yeah. I don't know what the heck they were going to do.
So immediately after this denial of service.
Timing's a little different.
Okay.
Technically, what it is when they went to them, there already had been hit pieces written about Black Wukong, claiming they were sexist in their office and all these weird things. These hit pieces came from, weirdly enough, IGN. Yeah. Well, it turns out
a woman named Rebecca Valentine is herself a member of the politically correct advisory team, Sweet Baby Inc.
But is also one of IGN's main writers.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that when Sweet Baby Inc. came to them, they already had the IGN article to use an example of why you need to pay us. So hit pieces came out against Black Myth because they said they'd been refusing it for a while, so it may have happened before. They said they refused it repeatedly, that they've been asked several times to hire this consultant. And when last time they got basically extorted by Sweet Baby Inc., they specifically referenced this IGN article. Well, we know that they literally have an insider at IGN who's a part of Sweet Baby Inc. So it's a scam, man. It's a freaking scam.
A translated post on Twitter says the reason why the team behind Black Myth Wukong has been subjected to persistent sexist attacks and slander since their first promotional video is because they have consistently refused political correctness guidance and rejected the extortionate guidance fees of millions of dollars demanded by these political correctness teams. Actually, such teams are quite common in Europe and America. They interfere with looks like Assassin's Creed, Dying Light 2,
God of War.
By petitioning for a politically correct female protagonist, these changes are the direct result of the interference and guidance of such teams. Game science teams refuse to communicate with these groups and reject their interference. Most importantly, they refuse to pay the exorbitant $7 million in guidance fees.
Yeah, you don't have to read the whole thing.
This is the direct reason why they are being attacked and slandered.
But yeah, and the worst part is, this is not an empty claim when the articles being written about them are coming from a company where one of the Sweet Baby Inc. employees is a main writer. It's very clear. Now, I believe I put this forward, did I not? Previously, where I said that it's all a scam, they're all working together. and sharing the money. Well, now we know, because if they'd have gave that $7 million to Sweet Baby Inc., that money would have went to someone that works at IGN. So this is a big hustle. But what really got me is I also pushed this forward. Bloodaxe, you remember me calling you? Remember me calling you? I said, why is Alan Wake 2 not profitable yet? Why did Spider-Man 2 not make so much money? I put forward that the Sweet Baby Inc. and related companies, the black gamers, black girl gamers, all that, are charging such exorbitant fees that you literally are going to won't go broke because you can't make back the money you paid them. Because that's how much. $7 million would have ruined this game. Because do you know how many copies that is they have to sell? Even if they did not mess the game up, they would have been $7 million in the hole for this game. Which means the first $7 million would have not accomplished anything. So remember all the game companies that closed down? Well, because they owed so much money. Dude, games don't make 50, 60, 80 million all the time. Some games only make 5, 7, 10 million. And if you're paying millions of dollars to Sweet Baby Inc., your game cannot be profitable. This is their first major title, Black Myth Wukong. If they'd have paid that $7 million, they probably would not have been able to break even. Or they would have only made a minor profit. This is how Sweet Baby Inc. kills games and gaming company. They charge them so much, you can't make the money back. And then here's the double evil thing of it, and they screw the game up. Which is even worse, because you actually screw the game up and charge an exorbitant fee. And then you've got IGN and all these people, IGN and other medias in your pocket because people that work at IGN, by the way, massive conflict of interest. Massive. I rarely say this. I'm about to say something you almost never hear me say because I believe everybody deserves their job. But no, she needs to be fired because you do not need to be working for a neutral media source for games. Supposed to be neutral while you are working for a consultant company with extreme political views and that works on these games. How can you get a legit review from IGN on any game Sweet Baby Inc. works on or doesn't work on? Because if they don't work on it, then you've got to believe IGN is lowering the score because they didn't get paid. And if they do work on it, you have to believe they're increasing the score because they got paid. IGN has no validity anymore. As far as I'm concerned, they are trash, they are Kotaku, they are dirt. Because you cannot have one of your main writers working for a consultant company that's pushing strong agendas and extorts companies and say that you are legit.
This is amusing here. One of the posts, seeing you promoting and praising a game studio with such a fervent history of sexism and hatred is really disappointing to me. This is a new studio that has no history.
They've literally not made a game. This is their first game.
Oh man, yeah.
It's a grift, dude. It's a hustle. They're an extortion ring. They come to you and they extort you. How could you already have claims of sexism and you just got opened a little while ago? You don't, like you said, they don't have a history to prove. Plus, they can't even speak English. How the heck are you finding out? There is nobody that speaks Chinese at effing Sweet Baby Inc. So you don't know what's going on.
Be.
There is nobody that speaks Chinese at Sweet Baby Inc.
You can't say that.
I can say it. No. They are racist. They wouldn't hire a Chinese person.
Oh, yeah, you can't say that.
Yes, I can.
You have nothing to back that.
If they can do it, I can do it. Now you finally caught on. If they can do it, I can do it. Hey, mine seems a lot more likely than what they claim.
Anyways, speaking of IGN, you see they gave the recent Doctor Who Rogue review. Gave it 8 out of 10. Man, said it was great.
Well,
Rogue is a fun, fast-paced Doctor Who episode.
He cried again in his episode as one.
He cried more than once in that one. He was getting it going. But he did a lot more than just cry,
I have no trust in IGN, man. I have no trust in IGN anymore.
Yeah, we don't know who worked on this show from IGN staff. We don't know who's on the take here. Because now we know they do this. And since they have inclusivity and sensitivity writers, probably somebody on the payroll.
Yeah.
IGN, man, a bunch of crooks.
Man, I don't know what Doctor Who is doing.
Yeah, he finally let me talk about this. He literally was not. He didn't want to hear it.
Because it hurts, dude. It hurts. Like, this is a show, similar to Bloodaxe and Star Wars, where is I watched these things growing up. This was a pivotal part of my youth.
Dude, Fourth Doctor.
Yeah.
Kept me company when all the other TV channels shut off. BBC was still on, and I was watching that. I was watching Benny Hill. I was watching Blackadder. BBC programming was the only thing I could watch because I had insomnia since I was a kid.
And then the U.S. decided to make a Doctor Who show, and it was horrible. And then the UK picked it back up, and I was excited, because here's my youth, And it turned out pretty good for a while, man. I mean, heck, I even got a Weeping Angel tattoo, And now I'm like, man, I'm glad it's
Weeping Angel.
Yeah, well, I'm
what's happening in Doctor Who?
I'm glad it's a tattoo that, even though it's related to Doctor Who, it's also vague
Just an
enough.
angel statue.
It's vague enough where it doesn't necessarily have to be Doctor Who.
Goes like, is that Dope Bleak? You'll go like, no, it's See No Evil. See No Evil. See No Evil.
It's not like my brother who has a Dalek on his ankle, because, that's only Doctor Who, unless you go for that one porn movie that did the Daleks, but...
8 was kind of. Episode 7 was getting there, but can't get you out of my head.
I give this episode 1 out of 100.
He didn't even watch it. He gave it 1 out of 100.
Yes.
All right.
That's for you, my friends at Discussing Who.
No. You need to give it a 1.01.
I'm going to give it a 0.85 out of 5. I know.
No, I'm just being fair to them. Like, we have different audiences.
I love my boys over at Discussing Who. This is just poking jabs at each other here, but I don't agree with their current reviews of Doctor Who. But hey,
that's why they got their audience and we got ours.
Exactly.
Because we don't say what the people want to hear. We say what we want to say. But to not go too long into it, the biggest thing about this, just some interesting points, and no, it's not about the story, is just that I didn't want to cover it anyway until we got the 7-day ratings, but they've already started the freaking season finale, and they're still hiding these numbers. So they are hiding the freaking numbers for episode 7 Rogue. And I found it odd because they put out the others no matter how bad they are, but they don't want you to know how bad that one is. And that was just really odd because they only gave you the day 1. And it's been more than 7 days. We already have the day 1 for the freaking 8th episode and 9. I think 8 and 9. But I know at least 8. So we're like into the special. And I'm thinking we're going to get the 7 days for the freaking episode 8 before we get 7. And that just says a lot. That says a whole lot. But like everywhere I look, I have not been able to get it. Now they claiming they got it there. We seen this 3.9.
Space Babies.
Oh yeah. Oh no, that's the first episode. Yeah. So I was just because I like to be fair and have all the numbers. Because hey, how do I know it's not gonna pop up? And turns out everybody went back to watch it. May had the biggest 7 days. So I usually try to get the 7 days before I come in and say this is how it's doing. Because day 1 is not nearly as representative as when they get all the streaming and the iWatch numbers together. But I can't do that if Disney's hiding it. So I have to now make my comment, and you can't blame me. They're not willing to release the numbers. Was it the worst episode of Doctor Who they've done? I don't know. Some of the other episodes were really bad. I mean, yeah, there's some stuff in here that's contentious and I'm not a fan of, but like some of the other episodes were painful to watch. This was just stupid.
I do like how IMDb has separated this into a whole new Doctor Who. Like this is season 1.
Well, yeah, they don't want to ruin the other Doctor Who scores. This has so many of the worst scores for Doctor Who. It would lower the whole thing because these are some of the lowest viewing numbers. Because I know they're at 2.1 again. They dropped all the way back down to 2.1.
We have 6.9, 5.3, 6.3, 7.9. 8.3 for episode 4, 7.4, 7.3. It's actually on IMDb has gotten a higher rating than some of the others. Now you can see the number of people rating has drastically dropped. I mean, you can see from the first episode to this one,
and then at 7, it's at 2. It halved again.
Yeah.
So, which probably shows why the score is going up.
Episode, so I mean, it's
no. That's also why it isn't. They're already on the 8th episode, man.
Well, I'm saying it's a newer episode. The 8th episode hadn't come out yet.
That's still a half drop, buddy.
This only came out 2 days ago. So,
man, people have been reviewing Empire of Death. Oh no, Legend of Ruby Sunday. Sorry, yeah, episode 7. Did we get the numbers out of count? Because the other thing claimed that Rogue was the 7th episode. All right, it may just be it's got the counts off, but either way.
Well, that's because most people are counting the first episode as episode 0.
Okay, either way, like I said, the last episode they started their big finale. They chose a villain that was not actually at all foreshadowed, just kind of get pulled out at the last minute. But you see how those numbers are just dropping. Because I was looking at season episode 7 thinking it was Rogue, but the viewership was like 2.1. They're low. They're slow. They're always hovering at only 2 million, which is the lowest ever. The show has always had about 2.1 to 2.2 or better. So it's getting the lowest viewerships that has ever been received by Doctor Who over and over again. Like repeatedly, it's hitting these numbers, and that's terrible. And it's a dead show. That's why there ain't really much else to say. It's a dead show because its numbers are the worst you've seen. And when your season is the worst viewership numbers, but you're on more resources, that's what people keep trying to tell you on YouTube. They're like, you do understand these numbers? We weren't tracking streaming, and it wasn't on Disney. They added more places you can watch it. You feel me, Bloodaxe? Like they added. And Disney's huge. Disney has millions of subscribers. And yet they're not hitting the numbers when it was only on the BBC. Do you get that? When it was only on the BBC, it was getting better numbers, even though it is reaching a massively larger part of the world. That means that comparatively, you should be halving these numbers for what it's really worth. Because they were doing better on fewer TV sets. Which to me is even more shameful. To actually be like, we have the most spread we've ever had, and we're getting the lowest numbers. That is sad, because Disney has to be adding at least 1 million viewers or close to that. At least a few 100,000, which means the real numbers, if this was still only on the BBC, this thing would be 1.1, 1.2, which is like half of the worst ratings before. So it's terrible. Let's be real. This is not us bullying. We're calling real numbers. I know numbers are sexist or something, but sorry, numbers are also truth. The numbers are terrible.
I'm going to wrap up there, guys. Blood, you got anything?
I was going to say, quit being racist with your facts.
Yeah,
numbers are racist? I can't even tell what they're supposed to be. And now they're racist. I thought they were sexist. Now they're racist, too.
All right. With that, guys, be sure to go to Dicejunkies.com where you can find links everywhere online, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell on our YouTube channel. And as every week,
we hope you enjoy.
Happy Father's Day, everybody.